Hi Grant, hi Reed, hi Nora, hi Magnus. I love you. I wish I could read this story with you together in person, and someday maybe I will, but I want you to have this and I hope you enjoy it. Maya and Filippo visit a glacier. Here we go. Maya and her brother Filippo are curious kids. Together with their parents and their cat Otello, they live on board a cruise ship called the Fun Princess. Today, their ship docks in Juneau, a port in Alaska. This airplane says Love, L-O-V-E, and this says Fun Princess. That's their cruise ship. Maya and Filippo are very excited. While still on board, the guide told them there is a big glacier here in Juneau. "What's a glacier?" Filippo asked. "It's a frozen river," the guide replied. "A frozen river? Really?" Filippo gasped. Both Maya and Filippo couldn't wait to see this river of ice. They said goodbye to their parents, and off they went with their tour guide. The guide took them to the visitor center. "This is Mendenhall Glacier," the guide announced, pointing at a river of ice flowing into a lake. "Wow, how beautiful!" the children cheered. "Woo-woo!" "Yes, it's a pity that it's slowly disappearing," the guide said. "What do you mean?" Filippo asked. "Well, the climate is getting warmer, so the ice is slowly melting. Your grandchildren will probably not be able to see what you're looking at right now." "Oh no!" Filippo exclaimed. "Don't worry, Filippo," the guide said. "When the ice melts, it makes way for little creeks and dry land, which become great places for many plants and animals to live. For example, bears and salmon can make a home here." Happy bear. "Have you ever seen salmon?" the guide asked. "Yes, we saw salmon swim in Ketchikan," Filippo remembered proudly, his adventure in another Alaskan port. "What about bears? Have you seen any?" "We saw a koala bear when we were in Australia," Maya remembered. "A koala isn't really a bear, but it does look like a bear," the guide said. "What was it like?" "Oh, it was great fun seeing him. He was gray and he was sitting on a branch, chewing some leaves," Maya recalled with delight. "I'd love to see him again." "Hey, look over there by the tree," the guide said. "It's a bear!" Maya exclaimed. "Yes," the guide replied. "It's a mama bear, and behind her are her cubs. They've come here for lunch." "For lunch?" inquired Filippo. "What are they going to eat?" "They eat salmon, silly!" exclaimed Maya. "Oh, are there enough salmon for the bears to eat for the whole year?" wondered Filippo. "There are plenty," said Maya. "That's right," the guide confirmed. "Bears sleep in the winter," the guide continued. "How do bears know winter is coming?" Filippo asked. "Well, they notice that there is less food and that the weather is getting colder. Then they get ready for their long sleep," the guide replied. "All is well in nature. There is nothing to worry about." "Take a look at this flower," the guide pointed at a funny-looking pink plant. "It's called fireweed." Maya and Filippo were very interested. Are you interested? When the first flower blooms at the bottom of the plant, you know that summer is arriving. During the summer, the blooms go higher on the plant until the whole stalk is red with flowers. Then the first blooms turn to cotton, and eventually the whole stalk turns white. When there are no more flowers, only cotton, it means that fall has arrived. That is why Alaskans say, once the fireweed turns to cotton, summer soon will be forgotten. The children continued their walk at the glacier. Filippo was getting tired. "My feet hurt from the walking," he complained. "We can stop around the corner," the guide suggested. After a few steps, the narrow path they were on led to a beautiful waterfall. "You can cool your feet here," the guide said. "Yay!" Filippo whooped. The children took off their shoes and ran to the waterfall. But as soon as they got into the water, they jumped right out. "It's freezing!" "But you sure are refreshed now, aren't you?" the guide laughed. Oh, he tricked them, huh? "Gee, we're hungry," the kids said. "What perfect timing," the guide smiled. "I'll now take you to the city center where you can have a bite to eat. Tante's always hungry." They went together to the waterfront of Juneau and started looking for a place to eat. They found a little crab restaurant. Oh, yummy. It looked perfect. "I just saw an old friend," the guide said. "I'll wait for you outside and talk to him while you have lunch." The children were about to open the restaurant door when they realized something dreadful. They had forgotten to bring their pocket money. They stood in front of the restaurant for a moment. Filippo said, "I wish I was a bear. Then I could just grab a salmon from the creek and feed myself." "True," said Maya. "If I were a bear, I'd find a fish and give it to you. Don't worry, we'll have lunch when we get back. Isn't it wonderful that there's always plenty of food on board?" "Yes," said Filippo. "I love it that there are so many things I like on the Fun Princess." Maya opened the restaurant door just to look at the crabs when, "Surprise!" the waiter exclaimed. Sirens went off and waiters started to clap. Maya was their 1,000th customer and would get a lunch for 2 for free. The children were delighted. Maya and Filippo ate their meal. Then the guide took them back to the ship. On board, they told their parents about their day, about the glacier melting and making space for animals to live in, about bears catching salmon and going to sleep for the winter, about the strange flower, about the waterfall soothing their tired feet, about the many things they were grateful for, and about the lunch they got for free. "How wonderful! All is truly well in your world," their mother concluded. Ooh, and we have a quiz. Q-U-I-Z spells quiz. What's the name of the port where the ship is docked? Choice number 1 is Aprilou. Choice number 2 is Mayu. And choice number C is Juneau. You're right, Juneau. What's a glacier? A frozen lake, a frozen waterfall, or a frozen river? I think it's a frozen river. Why is the ice of the glacier melting? Stronger winds, a warmer climate, or forest fires? Good job, a warmer climate. What does the fireweed plant show Alaskan people? The changing of the seasons, the direction of the wind, or the richness of the soil? The changing of the seasons. Something about when you see cotton, summer soon shall be forgotten, and then it will be autumn or fall. What are the bears going to have for lunch? Sandwiches, salmon, or sardines? Salmon, you're right. What was the best feeling that Maya and Filippo had on their day tour? They loved paddling in the waterfall. They remembered with thankfulness that there's always plenty of food for them on the ship, or they were glad that the glacier was slowly melting. They were glad for the food. Did you know about bears? When bears go to sleep in winter, it's called hibernation. Hibernation. Bears hibernate because there's so little food for them in winter and because it's too cold for them. Some bears go to sleep only for a few days in the winter, while others, like those in Alaska, hibernate for around 6 months. The koala is not a bear. It's shaped like a small bear. That's why it's called a koala bear. But but it's not really a bear. The name koala means no drink. Koalas don't drink much because they get most of their water from the eucalyptus leaves they eat. About Juneau in Alaska. Uncle Garrett, or Dad, and Grandpa Paul can tell you a lot about Juneau in Alaska. But here's what's in the book. Juneau, which Maya and Filippo are visiting in this story, is Alaska's state capital. There are no roads that can get you to Juneau. You can only get there by a plane or by ship, like Maya and Filippo did. Alaska became a state of the United States in 1959. It's the 49th state. Mendenhall Glacier is losing ice, and 40 years from now, it probably won't be visible from the visitor center. Explore more of Alaska with Maya and Filippo. Alaska coloring book. Maya and Filippo look for whales. Maya and Filippo separate in Skagway. More Maya and Filippo books. They go to New Zealand. So if you enjoyed this story, let Grandpa Paul and Tante know, because Maya and Filippo have done more traveling. I hope you enjoyed the story time. I love you. Nighty-night.